Okay, another big misconception I had when I moved to South America, when I moved to Lima. Um, I've been an entrepreneur really for a long, long time, but I recently, in the last few years, really learned how to do it well and actually make money. Right? I feel like all entrepreneurs, I always say, your first 100 ideas are gonna fail, and I think that's kind of true, because there's so many things that need to line up to actually make money as an entrepreneur, and you can be doing 70% right and still make nothing if you don't have that final 30%. So when I moved to Lima, I moved there to do business with maca, and I lost a lot of money. I made some huge mistakes. I wanted to export maca root in bulk from Peru to the United States, and I had the capital to do it. So the first mistake I made was, only trying like limited number of samples. Like if you're going to export a product, and I'm kind of getting into the weeds here about import export businesses, but if you're going to do an export business, you have no idea the level of detail you need to pursue every metric with. Like if you're exporting maca from Peru to the U.S., you better have the best maca, not just 80%, but you better have the very best product you can find. And I think the product I found, it wasn't the best I'd had in my life. And if you're ever doing business like that, the product needs to be excellent. It can't just be good. So that was my first mistake, was working with a company where the product was more focused. I was more focused on like the logistics, and that company being in Lima, and logistics rather than the utmost quality of the product. And if I was going to do it again, I would only be exporting the finest maca. The second thing was that I thought that by having money in South America, that doing business would be easier. It couldn't be further from the truth. Um, there's going to be cultural misalignment and communications problems, even if you speak Spanish, right? Just with things like timeliness sometimes. And I should have cut the cord faster. I should have tested out the communication more before investing my money. Just like with a relationship, just throwing money at a business relationship isn't going to make it great. A great business relationship doesn't need any money to get started. You're going to know when someone is worth working with, when you're like, I want that person on my team. You can find that out without spending a dime. Um, so I ended up spending a number I'm not going to share. Not a massive number, but not a small one either. And I actually had to move back to the United States after 5 months in Peru because I spent all of my money on my luxury high-rise apartment and going out to dinner every single night, and completely failing at this entrepreneurial venture. Also, I thought that just by being in South America that I would have more business success just by moving somewhere. Not true. Never underestimate how difficult entrepreneurship is. You can fail at so many different parts, and sometimes we have to fail at those parts before we actually make money. So at the end of the day, it's good. But definitely lost money that year. That was in 2022. Tell me, have you ever tried to start a business abroad? What do you think? Looking forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments.